So if you couldn't tell by the identical shirts, I am filming this exactly after I finished filming the last comics video. So around this time, I stopped doing Transformers comics, and I started moving on to my own original properties. Because I actually do have a ton of intellectual properties. Because I got to get the page. I even got this really nice crossover. It's upside down. I got this nice crossover thing. And look at all these different intellectual properties I can use. So anyway, let's move on to Alien Fugitives. A bit of background. Alien Fugitives started as a series of doodles I made during church. It was kind of that thing where you would scribble, and you would make a scribble and you had to turn it into something. And eventually they evolved into full-blown characters. Around the time of 7th grade, I started making these series of doodles that somehow told a coherent story. Note, the original Alien Fugitives was in black and white, and no one ever talked. Oh, this is the prototype for my Power Rangers Megazord. I used to doodle a lot. Nope, skip. And also note that I think I crammed 2 stories into one thing, so there were I made an absolute ton of Alien Fugitives things. I wouldn't call them comics, but they're things. And, during middle school, fortunately I lost most of the ones I had in 8th grade, which sucks. I think those are the best ones I ever made. And again, even though they were in black and white and then no one ever talked, you could still feel the emotion going on. There were a lot of good moments in Alien Fugitives, even though no one ever talked. Even though it was mostly focused on comedy. There were a bunch of different characters, though, and each one had their own unique gimmick. And basically, there were a bunch of criminals on the run from the law, while also simultaneously trying to take down the corrupt government that held their galaxy hostage. Also note that they fought against cyborg cops and the police force was called 2.0. Yeah. And for some reason, Alien Fugitives, I tried to jam-pack them full of sympathy. Don't ask me why. Because it's really poorly done. So Alien Fugitives got their own 3-issue series, which was unfortunately canceled early. And by canceled, I mean I just kind of forgot to make a 4th issue, so it kind of abruptly ends. I would love to get back to making more Alien Fugitives comics. I think they're some of the best comics ever made. But it doesn't start with the Alien Fugitives series, but instead with a crossover between my Transformers series and last video and, well, the Alien Fugitives. So you can see here, the cover for issue 1 is Optimus and Megatron alongside the main good guy and main bad guy from the series. I literally ripped off the ending from the comic The Permanent Revolution, where Tarn tortures and kills the Decepticon named Blip. By the way, this comic, this is supposed to be like an issue 0 sort of thing, but it just became issue 1. And so it focused on the DJD as the Decepticon Justice Division. You remember them from the last video, right? And so this is set at the very beginning of the Autobot Decepticon War in this universe. And so Tarn, while he's out torturing and killing, gets a message from Megatron that he's declared war on the Autobots. Also note this thing here. I had a friend who doodled this in my notebook while I was drawing this. So, shout out to him. So Tarn tells everyone to show up at the 2.0 space base. By the way, 2.0 has a weird habit of labeling everything. And so they arrive there to get reinforcements. Note that the 2.0 guys have sentient spaceships. Thought I mentioned that. So they show up and they meet up with the main villain, or the head of 2.0, Cybrute, who, yeah, he's a cyborg guy. Somewhere else, we cut to the main good guy's ship, the super ship. Note that it has a separate trailer for the ship hangar. Anyway, so here's our little intro to the Alien Fugitives guys. And note this is like the first time, at least first canonical time, that appeared in color. So we have Snakey, the vandal, master of spray painting. Her boyfriend Basher, who's a demolitions expert. Smith, who's an escape artist who literally has a keyhole for a face. Knife Fan is the leader. He has a literal knife for a hand. Octolus looks like Hubert, but he has an extra leg. Kyle is one of the 2.0 sentient spaceships, but he's been hacked to be good. And then there's Vision, who has a crush on Kyle for no good reason, and also can set things on fire by staring at them. Vision is my favorite character. So anyway, Octolus goes, is like, sir, there's some ship on top of ours. And like, 2.0? Doesn't appear to be. And then Optimus Prime busts into the roof. Gentlemen, you're under arrest for violating Cybertronian airspace. I honestly think I shouldn't have skipped the last comic from Tiny Turbo Changers because it revealed that Optimus Prime used to be a cop. Anyway, so cut back to 2.0 HQ. It's like, so that settles it. I'll help you. You kill Protector. Protector is what the good guys are calling themselves, by the way. And Tarn just finishes with Tarn going, let the games begin. To be continued. Issue 2 has an Alien Fugitive style brawl. In Alien Fugitives, I was known for trying to fill up the entire page. As the series went on, I just ran out of ideas. But the cover was entirely in black and white. And this would happen with every Alien Fugitives novel. I'm just calling them novels at this point. They would have the cast list, or list everyone who would be appearing in it. So I did that for this one. We have Optimus, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Ratchet, Crossblades, Prowl, Wintergreen, Thunderclash, and Cliffjumper for the Transformers, or at least for the Autobots. Crossblades was Optimus, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, and Ratchet. Of course, you recognize them from the last issue, or from the last video. Cliffjumper appeared in that one issue. Prowl appeared in that one issue from the last video. But Crossblades was a pretender who I, for some reason, said introduced. So Wintergreen was actually an original character, but you'll note she barely appears in the series. Thunderclash was an Autobot from Europe. He was a European exclusive character. He was later redecoed in Optimus Prime. So that I mentioned that. And then, yeah, so then Snakey, Basher, Vision, Knife Hand, Octolus, Kyle, Reprogrammed, would always write in square text, and Smith for the good guys, merely fugitives, and then Megatron, Blitzwing, and the DJD, as well as Cybrute, Blue Blob, Cybrute Platinum, Black Blob, and Angry Face. I was very on the nose with these character designs. You note that Blue Blob is just scribble for blue pen. Blue Blob and Red Guy were the only characters who ever appeared in color in the entire Alien Fugitive series. And so it starts where the last issue picked off. Or not picked off, with the last issue ended. Whatever. Optimus is arresting Knife Hand and the gang. Prowl's there. And it's like, I think it's time to use violence. And then Basher's like, whoa, man, chill out. And then Prowl just holds him at gunpoint. Just put your hands up. Okay, so Optimus tells Sideswipe to prepare the break for 6 prisoners. Be prepared to handle organics. And Vision's like, hey, the dropship comes true. No, the dropship comes too. And it's like, also be prepared for one living spaceship. And so we cut back to Cybertron. Megatron is staging an all-out assault on Autobot HQ. Bumblebee and Cliffjumper come out to get reinforcements. Crossblades and Thunderclash are wondering how long it takes until Optimus comes back. So Optimus is holding a meeting with the Galactic Council or whatever it was. Yeah, Galactic Council, which are guys from Alien Fugitives. They're like the 4 wisest beings in the universe. You had Flame, who's a demon in this is her human form. Question mark. No one knows what's up with him, but he has a long neck. Ramble he's extremely angry, and then Libra, who is like the leader, who represents judgment. Anyway, so Optimus asks the council what to do with them, or what to do with the alien fugitives, and so Ramble's like, you need to kill them all. And then Flame, who is actually a member of Protector in the novels, is like, you gotta spare the man. And so then the council agrees that they need more time to figure out what to do, and so Optimus just takes him down to Cybertron. Oh yeah, then Prowl's like, sir, the prisoners are making a scene. Shall I kill them? And then Knife Hand gives a big speech about how they should partner up and whatnot, so they partner up. Blitzwing is drilling Megatron that Tarn hasn't arrived yet, and then they show up. 2.0 arrives in the battlefield, and then also Tarn rips Crossblade's arm off, and then Protector just spontaneously shows up, or the good guys spontaneously show up. Oh, and then it ends with Tarn shooting Knife Hand directly through the midsection. Is this issue 2? And the other issue, there it is. Okay, issue 3. It's Ratchet operating on Knife Hand. Same as Knife Hand. Anyway, so it's basically, so Snakey takes Knife Hand to Ratchet's Manobey thingy. And then Ratchet's like, I've never operated on an organic being before. And then he realizes he'll have to amputate his legs because the blast was so bad. Smith and Optimus share a few words. Because it turns out that they all retreated. So the Decepticons are like, haha, we've won. Megatron executes one of the senators, one of the Cybertronian leaders. And then Crosshairs, remember him? He died. Turns out Prowl sent Crosshairs as a sniper to try and take out Megatron, but he misses. And so Megatron comes up behind Crosshairs. Knife Hand gets red robot legs. He doesn't keep them for very long. Anyway, so then I'd say this is a ripoff of that one scene from Endgame where everyone shows up. I think that was what I was trying to emulate here, because one of Knife Hand's officers, Gunner, that's his name, he radios him. He's like, and it turns out that Knife Hand tasked Gunner with freeing everyone who had been captured over the years. In other words, reinforcements. And there's just a bunch of group shots of everyone here. And then we go into detail on who's what. You know what I mean. So we got Yoink, Water Willie. Yeah, so Yoink has 6 arms. Water Willie, the living water creature. Gunner has a gun as a machine gun for a head. Used to work for 2.0. He was a villain for a while. Birdman 2. Yeah, he's basically the anthropomorphic bird. Arrow can shoot arrows out of his hands. Point is a living exclamation point. Weird Snake is a weird snake. Mental is basically the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes. Pixel Pete is a pixelated snake guy. Tapper is a living arrow. Plug guy I made during 8th grade science. He's a living electrical socket complete with plugs, like a electrical plug for legs and the electric outlet for a face. Rover is a little dog guy. Little robot dog. Robe Jr. He was based off a character I made when I was in like 3rd grade. He was like a little green squid guy. Speedy has a wheel for a foot. Space Cowboy, exactly like it sounds, and Hover Horse, his horse. Silver Stag and Gold Beetle. Just Google Silver Buster and Gold Buster from Go Busters. That's basically them. Black 5. Just Google the Black Q Ranger. That's him. Wizards is a wizard. Cyber is a cyborg, and Wizards and Cyber both hate each other. The Chicks, Birdman's children. Flame from earlier. Littlest Star, a microscopic star. Giant Dog speaks for itself. The Other Arrow, who's a living arrow. Red Guy, who's the red guy from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Headstand, he's completely inverted. Lick Me, and then there's Lick Me, Alan Wrench, and Tungsten, who are new to the series. Yeah. I've had way too much time on my hands. And this is the big battle. I love it, the cover is Littlest Star just going, what? Like, I didn't know what to put for the cover. So they all square down, Sideswipe and Speedy take out Blitzwing. Vision sets Tarn on fire. Gunner spars with Cybrute Platinum, who's an upgraded version of Cybrute in Angry Face. Gunner calls Cybrute Platinum Platty. And then Bumblebee blasts Cybrute Platinum. They send in their big Megazord. The bad guys send in their big Megazord, and then the good guys send in their Megazord, which is made out of Kyle the Dropship, and then Silver Stag and Gold Beetle. They try to set the big robot on fire. The Knife Hand's ship crashes because he asked Gunner if it didn't have a scratch on it, of course, and then it crashes. Alan Wrench shows up and it's like, I can fix it. And then Basher takes out Helix. Water Willie and Yoink, who are good friends, by the way. They take out some generic characters. A Birdman 2 lifts Tezzerus up in the air, and it's the "Let me go," very poor choice of words. And also, as a joke, I love it how just in the middle of all this chaos, Wizards and Cyber are still trying to kill each other. Kaon takes a bullet for Tarn. But Pixel Pete, who's able to jump into any electronic device, hops inside Megatron and reprograms him to surrender. And then Tezzerus survives the fall and gets taken out by the Tasmanian Devil. I mean mental. Needs mental. So Megatron then orders his men to retreat, and 2.0 retreats because the big good guy mech thing defeats the bad guy mech. They leave, and yeah, that's it. And also, 2 bonus credit scenes. Megatron turns out, no, the hacking was only temporary. And then, also Wintergreen, remember her from the cast list? I realized I hadn't used her, and so she joins up with the Alien Futures. What a ride. So that kickstarts the 3-piece series, which is completely canceled. It was canceled after 3 issues. But these are probably some of the best comics I've made. And again, so I mentioned the red guy is the red guy from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. In this cover, he's actually singing the creativity song from the first episode. Anyway, so 2.0, Cybrute back at 2.0 headquarters. Cybrute and Blue Blob. By the way, did I mention this picks up directly from where the crossover ended? So they're like, man, how do we get beaten by such a small group of guys every time? So then the other villains from the novels show up, being the Living Star guys, Particle, who I also made during 8th grade science, he's basically a living atom, and also the evil Knife Hand show up. And yeah, and this issue is literally called Life After the Crossover. So Octolus is giving a tour of the big super ship to the new recruits. Oh yeah, by the way, there was a running subplot earlier in where Knife Hand kept trying to find other members of his species, so he's trying to find some others. That's the plot of this whole series. And then, oh yeah, by the way, there was the face ship. I have a picture of it here. It's a big ship shaped like Basher's head that he flies in the battle. This camera, there it is. And so they're like, what about the infamous spaceship? Oh, it was destroyed. And then he's like, no, he's just kidding. Let me show you my face ship. Turns out it actually was dismantled. They find a big chunk of it missing. Anyway, Smith leaves because he wants to get back to his people. And so there's a subplot to where Basher is trying to find out who did it. So they find a bunch of Knife Hands scattered across the galaxy that they have to go to. And then Gunner's like, so am I basically second in command now? It's like, no, you're third. Wait, no, it's like, no, wait, last I checked you're in 10th. Because you guys crashed my ship. It's like, look, the thing's ready to fly again. I don't care. Anyway, so he lines up everyone who has any sort of mechanical part in them. Because they're mechanical or partly mechanical. The significance is, you all have a use for the parts of my ship. And they start interrogating the horse. And it turns out Octolus was the one who did it because he was sick of looking at it. And then Water Willie and Yoink, who speaks entirely through punctuation. It was like, I honestly thought that would last longer than it did. Anyway, so then Particle, who had a link with Vision in the past, I'm not showing you the novels, they're too long. He's able to mentally communicate with Vision. And then Cyber Platinum, who's on life support, because he took the hit from Bumblebee, decides to leave 2.0 because they tried to kill him, or something like that. Issue 2, he meets up with a bunch of other aliens, which are based off the aliens from the last year of the G.I. Joe tournament. Fun fact. Anyway, so Knife Hand is like, okay, so I'm going to try and find the remainders of my species, but if you don't want to do that, you can all leave. So a bunch of people leave. So they go to a different planet. 2.0, they're back at 2.0 headquarters. Cyber Platinum and his partner Black Blob break out in a sentient attack cruiser. And so they're pursued by dropships. They land on Red Guy's home world and immediately bump into the three aliens from the. They immediately bump into the three aliens in the cover. Vision Googles how to stop talking the particle mentally. And so he asks everyone if they have this special device. By the way, Octopus is riding around on the giant dog. Knife Hand runs. So Knife Hand's talking to the guys. Turns out they actually really like Knife Hand because he's been rescuing people all across the galaxy. This one slug guy metamorphosizes into this big green guy with an underbite and a tail. And he's completely naked. And the green guy is like, there's no way I'm hanging around with you guys. I'm out. And he decides to stay. 2.0, or back at 2.0, Cyber Platinum successfully blows up the three ships and also the evil Knife Hand's ship, and they escape. And then it basically ends with Cyber Platinum breaking into the Protector ship, and they're like, we need to talk. Okay, issue 3. This one's kind of interesting. So Cyber Platinum's like, I'm going to join you guys. The green guy gets some clothes, and they all head back to the ship. And then they realize they're out of fuel, so they have to go to a nearby planet and get some fuel, which turns out to actually be the planet from Hero Factory, because I wanted to also make a Hero Factory comic at the time. And so all the villains from Hero Factory show up, and this is supposed to kind of kickstart that, but it doesn't really go anywhere. They all defeat the good guys with the help of a bunch of all-female freedom fighters. And it turns out so they defeat the guys, but then the ending is they realize the leader is also a Knife Hand. The end. That's how it ends. Okay, one more comic. This one is not related to any Transformers or Alien Fugitives. This is on another intellectual property. Introducing the Demon Chronicles. I was going to make a comic of this in 7th grade. I got one page in and realized it sucked. So this is what it actually should have been. So the Demon Chronicles. It focused on a wisecracking demon named the D. This is a character I made in like 6th grade, and he basically has massive teeth, 3 red eyes, a big purple shirt with his name on it, and he can also fire his claw hands off like grappling hooks. And also he breaks the 4th wall. So we cut to Earth. A couple knights are dealing with some extra-dimensional threat, which is revealed to be the Demon King, the main villain. And so one of the knights tries to take him on and gets brutally murdered, with a pool of blood and everything. By the way, I really wanted to make this like super edgy and violent. Anyway, so the knight immediately winds up in hell. He's a blue ghost guy named Demonite now. And he runs smack dab into Satan himself. And Satan is like this polite idiot, is like a way of just a little reversal there. And the original plot was supposed to be Demonite, the blue guy, is trying to find a body so he cannot be a cloud. So there's some random lines there. Anyway, it cuts to wherever, and the demon, or the D, is listening to Paint It Black on his boombox. This is supposed to rip off the one scene, the highway scene from Deadpool, by the way. So the demon sees some bad guys coming through, kills them all rather brutally. And then, but then he gets handcuffed by, and then he gets and gets one of his hands cut to one of the bad guys' blade, and so Blade is taking him along, and then as it turns, that's in the D, gnaws his own hand off and spits it out, and then escapes. And of course, he keeps breaking the fourth wall, by the way. So he's like, for those of you at home wondering, yes, the Clogger's back. He's like, well, best get home now. Starts wandering home, bumps straight into Satan again. They exchange some words, and then so the D formally names the Cloud Guy Demonite. And so and then D reveals he killed a bunch of guys working for the Demon King from earlier. He's like, well, way to go, idiot. Just made yourself an enemy of everyone within 10 feet of you. Back at Castle Grayskull, really, it's not Castle Grayskull, but it looks a lot like Castle Grayskull. Blade comes back and he's like, you're attacked on the way over here. My men are all killed. And then the Demon King is like, well, how do you kill someone who's already dead? I don't know. Anyway, so they agree they need to kill whoever did this. It's the D. So they decide to form a team to take out the Demon King before that happens. They hire a bunch of guys, and the roster includes Grognak, who charges. He has horns. He's a big furry guy. Techno, who's completely not at all a ripoff of Trapjaw from He-Man. Beaky, who's completely not at all a ripoff of Mosquitor from He-Man. The Trash Pile, we'll get to him later. He's my favorite character. Stocks, who's completely not at all a ripoff of Mantenna from He-Man. If you can tell, I was really big into He-Man at the time. I forgot what this guy's name was, honestly. I honestly forgot what this guy's name was, but he's a stick figure with a big orange snake come out of his chest. And then there's Double Trouble, who's two heads are better than one. And it's like cute training montage, the big training montage. And the Trash Pile is this big gray blob of nothingness. They can morph his grayness into anything you could ever imagine, regardless of mass. So yeah, he's pretty cool. And then a couple other guys show up because I forgot to include them in the group shot. There's Sucker, he can suck things, and Polygon, who's a square who can grow or shrink at will. Anyway, so they join the team. And then, and the D calls him Sucks. It's a nickname, I guess. I don't know. Stocks can extend his eyeballs. So he's a spy. Anyway, they're all trained. The Demonite picks up a sword and is like, it just made your sword's heavier here because he's a small cloud now. And then he forgot to tell them that they're all going to raid the Demon King's castle. And don't worry, Sucker has a jet. So they all fly there. They break in. And then the Demon King takes off his cloak, and he's this big lime green monster with a saw blade for a hand. The Trash Pile tries morphing into a cannon, doesn't work. They all get brutally murdered. Double Trouble gets ripped in half, like Jazz from the first Transformers movie. But then Beaky flies up and just bites him in half, and then the Demonite decapitates him off camera. Or off panel. Oh yeah, and then the D starts threatening a Blade from Earth. He's like, get out of here, nerd. And so they realize they won, and then they all leave. Oh yeah, and then the Demon King's decapitated head wakes up, is like, it's not over yet, and the D ends with the amazing line, what? I ain't doing a sequel. Demon Chronicles Part 2 coming soon. No, it didn't, because I haven't made that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this comprehensive 2-video look at my new comics. I think these are a bit better than the old ones, only because they're in color and I actually put some effort and thought into them. Anyway, so hope make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and this has been Ron Todd signing off.